Yep, it just showed me the invite. It says we're live, so
That's wonderful.
that's a wonderful thing, ain't it? When it actually works.
Yeah, after last week, it's a very nice thing. We were only an hour late. Gosh, that's not bad.
No. Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
sounds
because
good.
I just shut off. Okay, so now there's Tom, and I'm gonna put in mine, and then you can give me the crown, and then I can get some moderators going.
Okay, Tommy's here. He says we can start.
Yep. My audio is very bassy.
It may be a little bit because you got rid of the headphones, but it's understandable.
I can lower that too. I got a deep voice to begin with, so you see my chat now. We'll click on that, and then it'll ask. Click on the little side, the three dots on the side there of my name.
I added you as a moderator. Tommy, would you like to be a moderator? We'd like for you to.
I think you got to do more than just give me a moderator, though.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, I think what's all the things on it.
The options I have is go to channel, report, remove, put user in timeout, hide user, and remove moderator. So make you a moderator was all I could do from there.
Let's see what I can do with Tommy here.
I'm a troll, Tommy says. How can I moderate? Well, Tommy, they don't have to know, do they? Do they? Can they? Yeah, they can. They can tell who the moderators are, can't they, Mark?
Yeah, it'll be a big like this. You'll see it on here as mine is. It'll be in blue with a big old wrench.
Well, we need an undercover moderator. Tommy, you're it. You're undercover.
He can't do anything though, as far as unless you're reading the chat to let you know that something's going on. So,
Right.
and as far as I can see, I can put people on a timeout and stuff like that, but I can't make them a moderator. That's gonna have to be on your end.
Those are the only options I have, unless they're somewhere else.
And you've got like probably a minute and a half delay from when you went talking to smiling.
That's not bad. From a minute to YouTube, yeah.
Ain't too bad. Hey Don, did you get in there yet?
Tommy,
Yes,
you have a good day, Tommy. Well, here it is, 8:01, and I expected at least 150 people by now.
Yeah.
And we only have four. We have four watching, and you and I and Tommy and your wife is four.
I don't think she's even in here yet.
Ah, what you said, Tommy, that's good, yeah. Any day you live through is a good day. I actually thought I would only live to be about 55 or 56, so I figure that all my days after that are bonus days. And for those who aren't listening yet, tonight we will be discussing being a Christian and what that means to us. And if you don't wish to hear this, please leave now and have a great day.
We're also going to be talking about cyberbullying and how we can help each other to prevent it from happening to anybody else, and some of the side effects of cyberbullying.
Yeah, and I tried to do some research on that, and I was pretty much taken back. I knew there were some problems, but I had no idea there were that many people, adults even, who are resorting to suicide because of it. That's just not a good thing at all.
He's going to be in the room here. Well, he said he was going to come in here. Cab 7 told me a story about his best friend and suicide. So it was kind of sad to listen to, and there was no warning whatsoever, and then he just took his own life. So it tells you that there's a lot of things that can happen quick, and noticing the signs and being reactive to it is the best way to look at it.
Yeah, I think I watched that, and it was a sad story. He said that there were no outward signs that there were any problems with him at all, if it's the same guy. And then all of a sudden it was just over. So
yeah, they were going on a food trip, and everything was fine and lucky, and then the next day it was all over. So it happens that quick, and that's one of the things that you can talk about. Jeannie Escrow.
Jenny Askew, that Mark and Tommy is my sister-in-law.
I'm glad you could join us.
Yeah, I am too. I'm surprised, but I have a hunch that my wife is on the telephone with her as we speak.
Farm Boy.
Hey, Farm Boy 45, it's good to see you. Did you bring 50 or 100 people with you?
We're up to 8. So we did, Farm Boy, we did try to get some software going and trying to get the Google Hangouts to come up and work, but we just ran out of time. The new software is kind of a tricky thing.
We sure did, but we're going to try to work on it for next week, and we should be able to bring in at least 1 or maybe 2 people if we need to.
Oh, wow, Tommy. You get Farm Boys.
Tommy is my own private troll.
I can see that. He's picking on you.
Good man that boy is, though.
Well, I think we'll give it till as soon as I see Locked and Loaded come up here and some of the other ones. Might give it till about quarter after, and then we can start this. So talk with everybody. You guys don't have each other. Please share each other. Befriend each other. One of the things I've been learning is YouTube doesn't like the word sub. Matter of fact, if you say that I subbed someone, they're more likely to take it away from you.
Yep.
There's one of them. There's the Farm Boy. Awesome to see you, bud. Been a long time. Well, a couple weeks. But as you can see, I'm back on the air. Managed to do it. Thanks for the
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yep.
We appreciate you all dropping in. And hopefully we can get something done tonight that will help. If we only help 1, it's been worth it.
Correct. If we touch 1 person, then we can save that 1 person. If there's somebody that has that thought in their mind, or just ignore that there's people out there that are willing to give you the extra help and to be there as a friend. That's what I hope I can get accomplished tonight.
Exactly.
I'm doing really good, Dee. Been a long time, like I said. Always talking to Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy will take over if you let him. You got to keep an eye on him, that's for sure.
I see that.
No, I didn't. No, Jenny, I didn't think that she might prod you. I just thought she might tell you that we were on, and you would come and take a look. I just turned the computer on, and you came up. God bless. Well, amen. You were supposed to watch us then.
Yep, yes, so.
Tommy says, I've been watching some of the guys that are connected here and enjoying watching the gardening and the video and the building videos, and a lot of good people, Tommy. It's amazing. I had no idea that the Homestead community was as large and as tight as it is.
Like real homesteaders.
And DE, I've been kind of watching you a little bit too. I haven't. You've been in a couple of live streams that I've watched after the fact, so all good. Gonna have to go ahead.
There should be a bunch of people that should be coming in here. Oh, what? We were up to 10, now we're down to 7.
Well, we're just getting started. They probably thought we were on here for hours or something, and I don't know, maybe one of them heard me say the name Tom Willis. I'm not sure. That could have been the problem. We could have lost 3 right there.
Tells you that, yeah. You know, Farm Boy could have scared him away too.
I didn't want to say anything because we're not that close yet, but yeah, that's quite possible.
Or they didn't pay their YouTube bill.
It could be that they saw these 2 ugly guys on the screen and didn't want to stay too.
There's Thomas. My internet is too slow. Farm Boy says Cab 7 is coming. All right. So that there is, guys don't know who Cab 7 is. He's very, a strong response here on YouTube. He's a very good support for people that are in need, and he has no grudges, no problems with anyone. He's happy with what they are, just as long as you don't throw stuff around in his channel. He's a great guy. He does a lot of support for others, and I've witnessed and saw him save 2 people from committing suicide just for someone to talk to. So it's a great channel to have, and it's going to be great to see him in here.
That's great. I'll remember that. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm on his channel, but I shall.
So if you want to, Merle, give Mellow Moon a wrench. And DE, you want to be a moderator?
We could use you.
Yeah.
Now, we did offer the job to Tommy, but he said he couldn't be a moderator and a troll too. And he's a really good troll, so we didn't want to lose him there. Yeah, she just came up on mine. You must be getting a faster chat than I am.
Yeah, if you could give her a wrench.
I sure did.
Okay, and then waiting for D to respond. Yeah, Farm Boy, he's good at watching stuff in the chat, especially if he's in there. He pays attention. I'm multitasking and listening.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying to get to CB's channel too, but I'm not having any luck for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I haven't seen DE. He hasn't been on there yet, so I guess he's just going to listen. Um,
I guess maybe next week we ought to probably start 10 or 15 minutes early. Wouldn't hurt. Let people accumulate in the chat room. Good evening, RG.
There's another good one for being a moderator.
Tommy, he sounds okay here. Maybe a little room noise, but I don't have any problem hearing him.
There's DE right there. Oh, can you hear me? Farm boy, can you hear me good?
Yeah, I'm already subscribed to DE. Have been for a little while, I think. Who was it?
I can put my mic, my earphones and stuff back on, but it's going to be...
Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, we got another minute and then we can get this party started.
Oh, no. Jenny says she can't hear you, Mark. Melon Moon can hear you because she's. Uh-oh. She says you're a little muffled, though, so I don't know.
All right, let me see something here. How about now? Is it better?
Well, thank you, Mellow Moon. I'm nice and clear. That's good. We like to be nice and clear. Yes, we do. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Is that better? Let me get rid of that. So is that better? Keep talking, LOL. RJ says it's better.
Well, if nothing else, it's louder.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see.
Let's go and put the EQ in here and see if I can't drop the bass down a little bit.
I think it's room noise, actually. I could be wrong.
Really?
But I think it's room noise. But
I could put the compressor on and noise gate on, because right now I'm actually pretty much pegging it out.
yeah, are you staying in the yellow at least? You're not getting into the red, right?
Once in a while, yeah, I peg out into the red.
You might be driving it just a little bit hard. I don't know. Depends on people sometimes.
Yeah, I got my gain up to 18. Yeah, I'll turn my device volume down, but I'll turn the gain up. See if that makes a difference. Does that sound better, you guys? A little better, a lot of echo.
Yeah, you just need to hang up some blankets and quilts and moving blankets and stuff like that. That room noise will kill you sometimes.
I'll put the noise gate on, see if that makes a difference.
It won't.
It won't. What about the compressor?
No, it'll only make it worse.
Okay.
Mellow Moon says it doesn't sound like you're using a mic in front of you, like you may be picking it up off of something else, but I don't think that's possible.
Let me see here.
tap on the mic just a little bit. Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, that's it. You're on the right mic, all right.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like you're in the bathroom. Yeah.
How about now?
Oh, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't good.
All right, it's almost 20 after here. I will go to the other mic. Let's see if this makes a difference.
Guys, believe it or not, we've been working on things all day long. So
Is this a lot better?
I don't know. So you'll have to talk some.
1, 2, 3. I'm glad you made it, Alex. Glad to see you. Yeah. So step outside, look for the UF.
Alexander Smith, thanks for stopping in.
All right, I'm gonna turn my headset on. Is that better?
I think it is a little, just a little,
okay,
but not much. But it's okay. We could.
I'll have to sit here and play around with it and find out what's going on. Well, we should probably start this thing up.
Yeah, I think so. It's about
Thomas
time.
is much better. So
Why don't
okay, guys?
Why don't you just take off, Mark, and let everybody know where we're going with this thing?
All right, guys. So tonight our chats are going to be getting right with God for number 1, and it's going to lead into the other questions of cyberbullying. And then later on, if we get some time, we're going to help some people out that want to start a live stream and get somewhat a little professional looking, like Merle is over here. And and we're going to go from there. So the first thing and the most important thing I think for tonight was about the cyberbullying. And when I did my research on cyberbullying, it was 24% last year alone higher for children and cyberbullying. And bullying is you got the verbal abuse in there is mostly, but what cyberbullies do it's different because they can't actually physically see your reaction to it. So there's a difference there. And so they come back harder and harder each time. And so what we want to do tonight is we want to get that awareness out there that we can help to stop this by having moderators in our rooms. We can see what's going on and try to find out what the issue is. But we all also have to remember is a bully has problems in himself. Hey, there he is. There's my moderator. There you go, Merle. Click on locked and loaded. Give him a wrench.
Always.
So with that being said, you got to remember that a bully is hurting on the inside himself, and he's lashing out. And 9 times out of 10, he doesn't even know the person that he's attacking. He's just throwing that out there. And if they do, then he's just evil to begin with. So, but when this is going on, it's affecting people negatively, and even to the point of suicide. Like I said, 24% in 1 year is just humongous. And we really need to be aware of that if it's your children, as far as adults too. It can happen very easily to adults. So we also need to be supporting each other. One way is to go on common channels that you know. Everybody in this room is 100%. You've got RJ, you got Thomas, you have Locked and Loaded, you have Farm Boy, myself, Alexander, sorry, are all good channels. Obviously, Merle and myself. These places are going to be a safe haven. And remember, if you do go to a channel that you're not aware of and something starts to happen, you can get off of there. But most times, it's not that easy. Alexander, a bully, has been bullied himself and will go for some weaker than himself. Very true.
almost always. One of the things that we
And
can
that's
do,
Go
one of the
ahead.
things we can do, I think, is we can try to be more aware of things that we wouldn't normally watch for, but just try to be aware of things that might be going on. And if you can, if you see something that just doesn't look quite right, try to take your friend to the side and see if there's anything that you can do to help. But I most of us are so busy trying to prepare for a show or doing research and this, that, and the other, or when you get into a show, you're too involved in having a good time and not paying attention to some of the rare signs that there might be. So yeah,
That's when we can have. That's what our moderators are for, you guys, because he's absolutely right. When you're doing a live stream, it's hard to watch what's going on in a live chat, and also at the same time watch what's going on with you talking to your other. If you got a guest on somebody else's channel, it's hard to do two things at once.
yeah, I read the stats on the children, the teenagers, the underage people, and it was horrible how many people that had made the ultimate sacrifice in taking their lives. I also watched an adult. The guy was about 45 years old, 40 maybe, and he just let it all hang out. He was very upset to the point that he was ready to take his life. And someone came along and reached out a helping hand to him, and he got over it. And he's spending lots and lots of time now trying to do anything that he can try to make it right. But what I'm trying to get at is it's not just the young people. There's so many adults that are affected by it that it's hard to believe, really. Don't you think, Mark?
It's a dangerous subject, and I'm looking right now. I went to the National Bully Prevention Center, and I'm actually looking at their website right now. And different forms of cyberbullying. Nowadays we have cell phones, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter, you have Facebook, you have all these different areas. And a perfect example was if you could be I think Lachlan would have used this one. A perfectly nice girl, doesn't do anything that's out of the ordinary for a little girl. She's pretty. Some of the other girls at school don't like her, so takes a picture of her, sends a nastygram across the board, and guess what? You just ruined that girl's life because everybody's going to she comes to school and get laughed at. All those things are just a huge problem. And the reason why I put in here is about getting right with God in here is because we can give him that, and he has the power to take that off of us and to keep us calm and take, even though it's still going to hurt inside, but he can take that away from us. And what we got to remember is we can't lash out at what's coming at us. If somebody, as an adult for myself, if somebody starts bullying me, I just go out a different channel. As a child, they don't look at it that way.
Yeah, I think if we pray for the bullies and those being bullied, it's a good thing. Mellow Moon says we actually should be trying to help the bullies, and that's true. That's not something that you think of though right away. We tend to want to get a hold of them and shake them real hard, but they are people with problems, and they're not. They're in a bad way, and they want everybody else to be too, I think.
So right now it says rates of incidents. Rates of cyberbullying victimization range from 5% to 74% since 2017. That's a 15.5% increase in high school students and a 24% increase in middle students. So that's just talking about kids in 1 year.
Yeah. Tommy says, I know a 15-year-old in my church that has a problem with bullying. and I think she has anxiety and depression, and I want to hurt whoever's hurting her. Yeah, that's the first thing you want to think of. But he says, I think her parents are taking care of the problem. Well, that's good, because a lot of those kids don't have anybody to really talk to. So,
and that's another point of as adults and being busy with younger kids. I caught myself doing this myself. Is Hunter will come up to me and say, "Hey, Daddy, and I need help with this," or something like that. And I was, "Oh, okay, I'll get right to it." Or their chickens are, "Oh, okay, I'll get right to it." And if I don't stop what I'm doing and actually pay attention to what he's saying, in their little mind, they're thinking, "Well, he don't really care what I'm talking about because I'm not giving him his full attention." And if we see somebody that's getting bullied or a bully himself, we can be the better person and say, "Listen, what's actually wrong?" And Cab 7 has done that, I think, a few times on his channel, trying to talk him down and try to talk some sense into him before we actually hit the block button or something like that, because they do need some kind of support. And if we show them that we care and that we're not the person that's going to try to pick on them, it might change their attitude.
Yeah, you have to be careful in whatever you do. Mellow Moon says there's a book out there somewhere that is called Hurt People, Hurt People. And it is true.
Very.
Well, it's kind of off the subject, but child molesters have almost always been molested as a child. So it's the same thing, I think.
Walter Davis, thanks for joining us. Yeah, and that's another good point too. Is some kids are just, they are mean, and there's some things that you just can't change. But there's a bottom line to it. There's something that's affecting that, and that's what we want to be aware of.
I think there's a lot of things that parents could do to help the situation. You can't just take a 7-year-old and give them a computer or a telephone and let them go on about their business. There's too many things that can happen to them on the internet. They can be bullied. They can have people talking to them that shouldn't be, and so on. So the parents are going to have to take where there are parents are going to have to take some charge there too. RG says if you confront them, you will see very low person with only one parent and mostly no father. That's exactly what I was trying to say, and and I believe that's correct. I really do. So when it comes down to it, you really do have to help the bullies. You have to try to be a friend to them if you can, and lead them in the right direction. Pray for them. I think that does me good.
Yeah, it does. It does really good to pray for them, but also we have to tell them, we're not here to stand up for your bully. Okay, so Farm Boy wants me to talk about what happened to him, and there's two instances that got me started on this whole thing about the bullying. One of them was him. The other one was Lego Dad with his son. The Farm Boy had a friend come on, and he saw that he was growing on YouTube, so his friend wanted to come up and be a part of this. Well, it didn't go as well as Farm Boy thought it was going to go, so Farm Boy kicked him off of his channel and blocked him. Well, then he starts calling his phone up, threatening his wife and his children, comes up using a different username. That's another subject I will be talking about here shortly, and continuously to go on and bully him. And there's a little key on here where if you click on that as you're on a live stream, you can report that person as a bully. And then YouTube, it goes under YouTube, and then they block that person, shut their channel down, give them a strike, whatever it is. But he continuously starts to use as a different user, and I don't know how many users that you can have in 1 month, but them are the things you need to watch for, and make sure that the moderators are there to help that, because I was on Farm Boy's channel last night when he came up as a different user, and I watched Farm Boy, just get real quiet and say, look at the chat, and I put 2 and 2 together, and I seen what was going on, and then the other moderator in the channel actually blocked him So it does help out to have them moderators, because there are people out there that just after a while they're going after you, and they have to use your resources, and that's when it comes to threatening you and your family, then it's time to get the law involved into it.
I think you're right, Walter. Sometimes they just think it's funny. Parents, no parents, rich or poor. I believe you're right. I mean, it's not always the kids that don't have someone to lead them in the right direction. Some people are just mean. That's all there is to it.
Exactly. And I think there's it's just not all kids being the bullies either. I think there's adults out there that have been picked on, and they want to bully and get everybody in as much as hurt as what they're in. So I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, I wasn't in a good position to write this fellow's name down, but I really wish everyone could see, and I'll try to get it out to the crowd some way. This one gentleman I was talking to that was 40 years old, about 40 years old. It is absolutely amazing to me some of the things that they tried to do to him and his family. It was horrible. He took care of. He was a reptile in the reptile business, I believe it was, and they tried to say that he wasn't taking care of his animals right, and this, that, and the other, and it was all, as I understood it at least, it was all because somebody got mad at him, and a friend helped another bad guy, and it snowballed into something that should never have been.
It's a nasty thing to look at, and it can, like he said, he goes at different angles, try different things, and you need to be aware of what's going on. If another one was a pastor that was getting stalked because of a woman like this person, and she shows up at his place, and so you really have to be aware of what's going on in your surroundings. This is a big issue.
Yeah, I forget who was talking about that. If I'm not mistaken, it was a neighbor who was a pastor in a church that paid the ultimate price there, and you wouldn't think that would happen to someone like that, but it's amazing, truly amazing what people, you don't know how far you can push some people before they snap. So you just got to be decent and treat everybody the way you'd like to be treated. Easy to say, I know, but it's just not that way all the time.
The other thing too, I was going to talk about this as a child when I was younger and I was in high school. Back then, you had bullies and they'd knock your books out, knock my books out, and do stuff like that when I was going down the hall. And when I went into the service, I came back, and guess what? My one thing on my mind was to go after those guys that did that.
Yeah.
And that's the part where we have to learn how to forgive the bully, because if I would have did that, for one, I probably would have really hurt the person, and number two, what am I going to get out of that besides trouble? I think the biggest thing is, and the fact of it is you have to say, you know what? I apologize. I feel for you. I forgive you for being like that, and move on. We don't have to sit there and be their best friend, but we do say, I forgive you, because you're the bigger person, you're the better person, you're the stronger person now, and you need to show that. And when the bully sees that, you just took the power away from them.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is. I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't. Things weren't like they are now. In most cases, if you were big enough at all, and somebody tried to bully you, you just took it into your own fists and you took care of it one way or another.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but sometimes, what is it they say about Sam Colt? Sometimes he makes everybody equal, you know. You have to clobber him over the head with something. I don't know. It's tough. The answers aren't always that clear. That's the problem.
Yeah, RJ, there's a lot of people that have been destroyed. I mean, back when we grew up, we had dial-up. This was not even a thought, 20, 30 years ago. I'm guessing, Merle, would you ever think you'd be sitting in front of a computer doing this?
No.
I sure didn't. And it's making us, the way electronics and the devices are going, it's making things a lot easier, and it's making things a lot easier for people to bully without getting, if you bully at school now, there's consequences, so it's kind of less of a thing there, but on here, it's still wide open. So, and they, like Ella Moon's saying here, forgive them or you can carry that burden. That's the other thing too, is you have to forgive those people and move on.
Walter says you have to watch kids programming all the characters, make snide-cutting remarks to each other. One is always the fool and one is cool, yeah. Sometimes that's right. Way too many times. Kids grow up thinking it's just the way to be. That's the sad part. If you, I hate to say this, but if you got a father and a mother in the home and they're reasonable people and they take care of those kids and treat them right, they're not going to do those kind of things. But there's too many. I still think, there are bad people out there. They're just made mean. But in a lot of cases, I believe it's because of the parenting or the lack of it that causes a lot of this trouble.
And sometimes, a good one.
Go ahead.
Rock Loaded just said I was called Robin Hood in school by the teachers. I was the one that was beating up the bullies. I was beaten every day by my father, so I hated the bullies picking on the weak. So I would fight them. And I think that's a lot of it is right there, is because, especially as growing up as kids, men were trying to show our father that we can stand next to them. He's our idol, or he's the one that we want to show that we're respecting and show up to. And when he turns on us, it just totally demolishes everything that we're trying to do, and as we grow up. So, and that's just, right there, that's a prime example of that, because the person that you're supposed to look up to you is knocking you down. So what are you going to do? He took the right road, and he just took care of the bullies.
Yeah. And you're right, RG. I remember the old after-school fights that fixed a lot of problems. And in those, and the next day, you guys had a fight. It happened to me, but I don't think it's that way anymore. We used to have fights as kids. As kids, we'd fight, and then the next day we'd be best friends.
Yep. I don't think they do that nowadays, though.
No. Not that I'm aware of. Well, I think we're just showing our age, RG.
Thomas says that way back when I was in school, stopped a lot of bullies the old-fashioned way. But like you said, you can't do that. Yeah, it's changed. If you used to get fights in school, the teachers used to pull you apart, and one would get sent to the principal's office, and you get thrown in timeout where you go. And well, now, they call the police right away, and you get it for assault and everything else, and it's a totally different avenue now.
Yeah. Homestead Tessie, thanks for stopping in. Enjoy your channel a lot. And you got rid of the TV 2 years ago, and I think that was a really, really good idea.
The shows nowadays, and that's, I think parents are, if it's a one-person family, the mother or the father, and it's taking the TV as a babysitter. And like you said before, these cartoons are, you got one guy's a good guy and one guy's a dummy, and one's picking on the other one, and that's where these younger kids are learning this. And they're, instead of doing the right things, playing outside.
The conversation in the chat room's pretty good. Homestead Tessie says, these days right is wrong and wrong is right. And Locked and Loaded says now they come back and shoot each other. Yeah. Too many times that happens. And we didn't bring this subject up either to solve anything. We just kind of wanted to make everybody a little more aware, if possible. And if you happen to see something, do something if you can. What's bad is when you see something and there's nothing you can do.
You know, even if that is, you see it happening in a room and you don't do anything about it, and then it's going to sit there and haunt you for the rest of the night. And you know, that's another thing that we can really do differently. Walter, I got pretty tough early on when I was 7th grade. My dad told me no fighting or he'd kick my butt. When I got home, I got bullied a lot until high school. You know, that was the other part of this conversation is you had Farm Boy that was, picked on verbally and on his channel. Well, then they had the Lego Dad where he's really strong in the Bible and says that turn the other cheek kind of concept. And his son decided to take and teach the bully a lesson. So now they're both got in trouble. Both of them have the law on it, and now they have there's no he did it kind of thing. You're both in the same situation now because the law got into it. So even though he took it into his own hands, now he's got more trouble on top of it yet.
You know, I didn't exactly get bullied when I was a kid, but it was something almost as bad. I was the little fat boy when I was, I don't know, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And what they didn't know, though, when they were making fun of me was that I was going to be over 6 foot tall when I got older. Well, I finally one day I just had enough. And, I didn't expect to win, but I was going to let the boy know that it wasn't the right thing to do. So after I found out that I could whip this guy, like somebody said a while ago, not being the right thing to do, but sometimes you just gotta fight back. And yeah, Tommy. Tommy says, I took a rifle to high school all the time. Never had a thought of using it on a person, deer maybe. When my daughter was, I want to say she was probably 11 or 12, they had a thing at school where they were supposed to bring something odd or different or what have you, and give a talk on it. And she took a .22 rifle. And this was my daughter. She's 46, 47 years old today. But she took that rifle on the school bus to school with her. I mean, things...
There he is.
Cab 7, we've been looking for you.
Thanks for coming. Moderator. Click him as moderator. Thank you for coming, Cab.
Cab 7 now has the wrench. I think he said he was going to throw a wrench in the whole thing.
Yeah. They're back in the day. I remember taking a .22 because we had target practice at the school. First it was bow and arrow, and then it was the .22. I don't think they even allow bow and arrows in school anymore. So.
No. Can you imagine somebody getting on a bus with a .22 rifle today? I tell you, the world is just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to keep harping on the same thing, but I think a lot of it has to do with not enough parenting. Too many single parents. Too many parents having to work too many hours. And this, that, and the other. I don't know.
Yep.
I wish I had an answer.
I know that's we do homeschooling here, and I think that has we've been told a lot of times that you're not giving your kids enough room to grow, and you're not allowing them to have the things that they need to do with school. But on the other hand, the things my kids don't have to deal with that. They don't have to deal with bullying, and they don't have to even be wondering what the other kids are doing, and they can have a loving family to raise them, each and all the way through there, especially in the delicate years when they're younger, because they learn how to respect the parent, they learn how to listen to the parent, respect elders, and then it just flows down all the way through their life. I'm hoping, and where you don't see the people going to the stores anymore, and kids opening up the doors for elderly people or carrying the groceries to their car because they lost that respect. And with us homeschooling, they get that every single day. You need to do this as much as kids will, with their chores and things like that. But they don't have to live in that kind of environment, and I think that is a positive thing more than a negative.
I hate to say this because in all the shows that I've been in before, we tried to not talk about religion or politics, but I really truly believe that the United States has turned away from God by so many people that he's just there for a while. He just kind of let it go, and let it fall apart. But if more people will look towards God and pray, I think things could get a lot better. And I look for that to happen in the future.
There's a comment that was made in my Facebook page, and somebody was asking, "Where's God in the schools? How come He's allowing the shootings to happen?" And underneath there it says, "The schools kick God out of the schools." So by not allowing, that was kind of a good analogy of the whole thing.
Yeah, I saw that too someplace. God couldn't do anything because He wasn't allowed in there. So.
Yeah. Welcome, Sandy K. Glad you could make it.
We as a people have to take the responsibility for a lot of this. I mean, not just the bullying, but lots and lots of other things too. Some of us, like me, we sat on the sidelines for the last 25, 30 years and didn't really understand what was going on in our schools. And that's our fault, because we should have been in there. I thought school was still like it used to be when I went, and it's a far cry from what it was then. In fact, most of the schools that I know of won't let God in the school, and they teach the kids that their mom and dad aren't as smart as they are, that the kids are smarter because they've been able to be in this school where they've learned all these things that are just plain crazy. And Cab 7, I meant to read that, said that he just came from his live stream where he talked about the same thing. That's good. That is really good to hear, that there's more than just us talking about it. I would hope that there'd be many more pick it up and talk about it.
That's what I was saying before. If anybody in here, Cab is pretty well, has a great channel. And if you guys don't know his channel, please go and check him out. It'll be well worth your time. I'll guarantee you that. He's got a lot of good stories in there and a lot of heart-to-heart.
And just for the heck of it, as you guys get a chance, try to go through and help one another with their channels too. I was afraid I'd forget it, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Is Farm Boy still in here, or did he leave? I don't see him anymore.
Cab 7's been around a long time. I hadn't been to his channel, and I can already tell that it's a good one. What is it about these old people, A lot of these old people, not me, of course, but a lot of these old people are just funny, and I see on his page here, he says humor is the best medicine. I think it probably is.
And Alex put up a point here, is just think about the parents when that child takes their life. You know, that's got to be the worst thing on a parent. And I couldn't even imagine that. And then, you know, I heard some other people talking about when Mellow Moon brought it up as her friend was chased down by a bully and hit by a bus, and the bullies are there laughing at the coffins. You know, what do these parents think, and what do you do? Because you know, as me, I don't know. I think I'd have to be on my knees praying pretty hard because I really, really want to tear someone apart.
Yeah, Tommy says us old people just don't care what others think. I don't know. You know, Tommy, I think we say that a lot, but we kind of do. We would rather that people would like us, but you know, if they don't, we're not going to cry about it.
Oh, hey, farm boy didn't get a monkey wrench. Monkey wrench. There he is.
Well, he was supposed to have one. Whoa! Hit the wrong button. I gave him something he wasn't supposed to have.
Time out.
All right, he's got that wrench now. Locked and loaded. Thanks for advertising our show tonight. We believe it or not, we spent all day working on some of this software trying to get things going. And Tommy, you'll appreciate this. I talked him into the 60-day vMix trial. So now he's got the hook. We just have to set it now, and I think after 60 days we'll have another user.
The funny thing is it's a proven fact. Free software is never free, and what I learned on my OBS today is that the virtual cam that you need to broadcast, after a couple days, it'll sit there and say trial, 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 and it doesn't shut up. It's annoying.
What was it? The virtual camera that was causing all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that virtual camera must be sold by the same people that sells the virtual audio cables, because it sure sounded like the same person to me. I had to listen to that for about 15 minutes, and finally I just had to give him the money.
I'll be right back.
I think it is, Tommy. I always thought it was anyway, and if it wasn't, it should be. What do you think? Locked and loaded. I lost my mom 3 years ago to suicide. I hate to hear that, and I'm sorry. And 2 of my uncles. That's just absolutely horrible. Well, I myself lost a brother-in-law to suicide. And it's not a good thing at all. It's just, well, it just comes out of the blue so many times. You don't expect it. Uh-oh. Tommy, what'd you catch him? What'd you catch Cab 7 saying? Tommy's for those of you that don't know, Tommy's my personal troll. That false witness thing, it's the 10th Commandment, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Tommy's been to Cab 7's page. That was not a 24-year-old nun that needed to shave. I noticed that. Oh, Cab 7's talking for me here, I think. I admit that I've fallen short of the glory of God, my friend. Yeah, that's kind of my motto lately. But you know what? I'm a better guy today than I used to be, so if we could just get a little better every day.
I think we all fall short sometime down the line, but as long as we will keep back and get our back on the straight and narrow,
hey,
there was hope for.
There was only one that was perfect.
Yep.
And Justin,
so
I just can't imagine how you must feel. I really can't. Just so difficult. And you know, a lot of people sometimes they won't talk to you about it, and I think that hurts too, because there are a lot of things that you'd probably like to say, and other people are afraid to even talk about it. Or at least I would think it would be that way.
It's really good that John, Locked and Loaded has come a long way and being able to tell a story and get up there and help other people. It just goes to show what kind of person was in the heart.
And Farm Boy, I'm going to come to the Funny Farm. Yeah, you can bet on that. I've been busy for the last couple of days, but I've been doing other things as I listened to some of your chat. So I know what's going on, and I know who's the good people and who's the bad people in your chat room too. I know the ones to trust. I'll bet Tommy's been in there too. I like what Tommy says. Wow, I'm impressed by the number of Christians on here and ain't afraid to say it. I am too. I'm not only impressed, I'm proud.
That's because I think you're all handpicked there, Merle.
Well, what you're trying to say is we're preaching to the choir? Is that it?
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that if I had somebody from every angle. Cab came over, Locked and Loaded, Mellow Moon, you, Farm Boy. I wanted some of the people that had this stuff going on to them to be able to talk at the same time as I wanted to have the number one person in this chat room to be a strong presence, and that's God. And I think that's what you guys see.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that I wanted to do this was, for the longest time, I've been in a couple of shows, weekly shows, and we never talked about religion or politics. And when you brought up the fact that we might talk about being Christians and that in this thing tonight, I thought, that what we've been doing is not right. We've put God to the side so we could talk on the internet, and I'm just not ready to do that any longer. I like to be in the company of Christians and say what's on my mind. And I think we're in a whole room full of those people.
Isn't it amazing? Look at all that right there. Everybody with a good heart and good strong beliefs, and they're all in one room. So what does it say if you have more than one person in the room?
Where two or more are gathered together.
Yeah.
There too shall I be.
There you go.
It's got to be a good thing. And we're not really preaching, but there's a lot of people saying what's on their mind, and that's always a good thing.
That's what I was hoping for, is that we all can learn from each other and help each other out and talk about some hard things and get some of those issues taken care of.
And after the service, we're going to have, what are we going to have? We're going to have a big banquet, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering who brought the covered dishes, though. Yes, we're fellowshipping. That's what we do. Jesus was the best PR person. He wanted his Father's words to reach as many people as possible. And that was a quote from Tom Willis.
Mm-hmm.
And he has leftover grits and hog jows.
PR is press.
Right, right from Reeltown, Alabama.
So back to the bullying thing. So some of the things that we can actually look forward to and look at to see if the person is leaving nasty comments, I guess, is number one. It's really hard to get down face to face with someone that's on a chat. It's not like when we're in person. So just try, even though it's hard, try to be calm to that person. It'd be nice, and just remember where they were at, or where they're at right now. We can't help everyone, but maybe we can help one. I think Cab said it a few times before. That one person needs that one word. If that's friendship, I care about you, anything like that. That's hey, Texas Savage, how you doing? It might just only take that one word to change someone's life. So
it kind of reminds me of something that happened to me, and I don't know if I've told it or not, but I used to be a reserve deputy sheriff, and there was a guy coming on, and he needed some. He didn't have a lot of money, and we had to buy all of our own stuff. And I had some extra bullet holders and some, an extra belt that he could use. And I thought, well, I'm not going to use it. It'll probably just lay in a drawer for the rest of my life. So I offered it to him, and he wanted to know what I wanted for it. And I said, I'm not using it. You're welcome to it. And he asked me why I was being so nice to him. And that people should not have to ask things like that. When you're good to somebody, it's out of the goodness of your heart. And there's just too many people that don't realize that anymore.
Look what Cab says. He says, many people have been remembered in history, but none as profound as Christ, 2,000 plus years, and still remembered and praised. And Tommy says that's why he live streams his church services. If one homo person watches, it's worth it. Amen. Exactly.
Amen. Just one. Just one. If anything we do helps one person, it's worth it.
We're here to set plant the seed, and they can let the Lord go and water. Starts in children, I believe. Yeah. And Moon, I think you need to start another pot of coffee.
I may have to have another cup. It's good. It's too good.
Yep. Hopefully next time, guys, I can get this figured out and we can get Cab on here. He has some really, really spiritual and just uplifting stories to tell. So,
yeah, well, Tommy knows that you can use Zoom with vMix, and kind of a pain in the butt to get to learn it, but I plan to do that, and we can bring one or two people in at a time if we need to, and let them tell their story in person.
Yeah. It didn't take
That's
me too long to figure out VMAX.
that's what we need to do. I was not raised in a church, and when I accepted Christ, I have had to learn church etiquette. Yeah, well, I tell you, when I was, I don't know, back when we went to church, we used to wear the best thing we could find. We used to wear the best thing that we had to church, and now people just wear anything. And I can think of that two ways. You know, in one way, I think, well, people should appreciate where they're going and do the best they can. But on the other hand, if you're there, that's the big thing. So I kind of got over that. Sandy Kay says, when I pray for God first and thanking Him, my husband next, others who need Him, myself last. Joy.
Tom says Zoom is only one person.
Yeah, I know. But you can use more than one person up to 45 minutes without paying for it, Tommy. So if you have to kind of move them in 45 minutes at a time, it would work. But I thought I might go ahead and just bite the bullet. I think it's only like $14.95 a month or something like that. I could give up supper, I suppose. And we could find the money for it. Well, Cab 7, I have to. You prompted me to say this. He says my church is not in a building. It is in nature where I feel closest to the one that is greater than myself. Well, I used to think you had to go to church, but I've become disillusioned with a lot of churches. And I no longer feel like you have to go to church to praise God. So, there it is. I threw it out there.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way because the church is, they've taken God out of the government, they've taken God out of the schools, and some of these churches don't have God in the church. And you can tell when you go to them.
Yeah, I really do believe that. And it's happened over the last 30 years mostly. Started way before that, but it's...
Well, it started way back in Adam and Eve when the first deception was
I think you're right.
started.
If you want to get truly technical, you're exactly right.
Yes.
Did you not see my long comment, Mark, or didn't want to bring it up?
Which one was it?
Locked and loaded.
I didn't see it, bud.
I don't think I did either.
I'll have to back it up. Oh, one thing that also needs to be discussed is Philippines targeting kids on their own online gaming sites like Xbox. Preying on small boys and girls. Parents need to keep a close eye. Yeah, there's a lot of pedophiles and stuff trying to get kids on their game stations. You're absolutely right. You're locked and loaded.
Yeah, that's what I was saying a while ago about letting a 7-year-old kid turn them loose with a computer or a telephone. You gotta be looking over their shoulder. Somebody should be seeing that they're talking to the right people.
Yeah, we did talk about that. You weren't in here yet. It is a big thing, and if parents, it's our responsibility to see what our children are doing and their actions. And online, if you see most of these kids, they're on gaming sites, they're locked in their room with the dark and everything else, playing games for 24, 48 hours. That's just not how it should be. And then when you want to get them to go to church, you see them laying on the pews and sleeping because they're wore out. And that's part
Yeah.
of the parent's responsibility, is to say, hey, enough is enough.
Tommy makes a good point about what I said, though. He said he used to feel the way I did about the churches, but he's discovered that when he goes to church, it's not because of the other people there, but to learn how to go outside the church and spread the Lord's message. Well, I think, Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
that you're in the right church, and I think that's, at least my opinion, why you feel that way. You're in a good church, and I'm happy that you are.
Say, he says, I have an ex-son-in-law. In order to see my grandkids, I have to bite my tongue. Long story. He's bullying, trying to teach my grandkids not to be a bully. I'm trying to, oh, he's a bully, and she's trying to teach her grandkids not to be a bully. That's kind of a hard situation.
Yeah, it's difficult, without a question.
That's, the thing that I said in my video is, if one child lost is one too many. Um, and all the things that we've talked about tonight, from the games to, live streaming to YouTube to Twitter, all those things, as parents, we need to make sure that we're taking care of our children, is number one. Remember, our Father takes care of us when we follow Him, and it says in the Bible that we're supposed to teach our children, teach them to respect, teach them to honor, and we
Exactly.
need to be a part of their life. And don't set them in front of a TV and give that's the babysitter.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, the television made a good babysitter for me, or they must have apparently thought it did. But I found myself, when my kids were younger, doing the same thing. You know, it's kind of what happens to you when you're a kid. You grow up to do the same thing that happened to you,
Mm-hmm.
and
Gab says many parents neglect the issue of children being on a computer. Rather, a scary thought. I wish we were back in the '70s, and times where things were simple. That's right. How many
yeah,
times, if you see kids nowadays and ask them if they ever know what a fax machine was, or type out a letter or anything like that, and you look at it, you're crazy.
well, I know it's not on the subject, but they're talking about not teaching kids how to write in cursive anymore. I think that's insane. That the kids won't be able to write a letter. It may not
Lock
be
and load is going to
necessary.
go on. See that? Lock and load is going to beat them up for $5 or a cup of coffee.
And this thing about the kids not being able to have toy guns, if I couldn't have had a toy gun when I was a kid, how could I have been friends with Gene and Roy? You know.
Yep.
And some of you may not know who Gene and Roy are, but they were our Saturday morning. Uh, they were the people that took care of us on Saturday mornings. That's what they did.
We had we had the Long Ranger.
Yes.
You wake up
Yeah.
Saturday morning and watch him. Or
I
Daniel
lived.
Boone, there's another one.
I lived for Saturday morning. The kids.
Walter just said a good one too. Is the kids
Yeah,
learn to spell by texting.
that's exactly right. But the phones will finish the word for you, so you don't really even need to know there.
See, that was one of the things, is not only because of what phones are made out of and the batteries in the phone, but I chose not to have a cell phone, you know, because at that time they're, and this is on the prepping side of things, but they're a tracking device, and not only that, the batteries that are in them, where they're made, is is just a terrible environment, and then you're putting it up next to your head, and there's actually data showing that cancer in your fingers, cancer in your hands, kids are getting cancer in their fingertips from texting and playing on their phones, and you're holding that right next to your brain. It's like, I don't want to do that. So if you do have a cell phone, it's best to use a speakerphone.
Yeah, without a doubt. And they're pretty much at a point now where they can prove that the cell phones are causing cancer. It's not just a conspiracy theory.
No. Yeah, you're right. GR was raised in the scout program. Lots of camping and great outdoors in Montana. I got a story about the Boy Scouts. I used to live in Arizona. We took a group of them up to the Superstition Mountains for a week to teach them how to rappel and look for lost Dutchman mine and do some survival training out there, knowing the cactuses to eat and what you can do and stuff like that. And I was actually surprised there was 17 kids, boys, that went out there to get their Eagle badges in rappelling, survival. It was a blast. It was fun, just looking for the lost Dutchman mine and them having their thought that they're going to find a diamond mine and see these kids smiling and running all over. It was a great time.
Yeah, that's great. It's good to hear stories like that, because there's too many kids sitting around doing nothing with a cell phone in their hand, beating it to death with their thumbs, and eating Cheetos and getting fat.
Here's another Wisconsinite, Tiny Hilltop. Glad you could come along, brother. Nice to see you.
Welcome. I believe Tiny Hilltop is one of my subscribers, if I'm not mistaken.
Here's another great channel, guys. If you haven't checked him out, he's got a really good channel. Tiny, if you haven't looked around, there's some really good guys in here. Cab 7's floating around in here. Locked and Loaded. Sandy K. Walter. We got, what do you call Tommy? He's your personal troll.
Tommy Willis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy's been what?
Cab says I'm an Eagle Scout.
Tommy's been watching your videos, Tiny Hilltop. RG says that this generation, if we had an EMP, they would not be able to deal with life nor survive, and that is sadly true. And that is
that's going to bring.
That may be a subject for another day. I don't know, but it is that's something we ought to talk about maybe next week or sometime.
Yeah,
because
Locked and Loaded has a video out there right now about if for those guys that are in Wisconsin in this channel.
Yeah.
Dark Sky starts in 3 days, from the May 15th through the 17th, and they're going to try to shut down the grid and to kind of simulate an EMP. But he has a very good video on his channel right now that talks about it in depth. So if you guys want to go check that out, you got to remember that this stuff is really serious, because just like was said, without the power, you're going to knock probably 90% of the people back to the Stone Age. And a lot of them people don't know what to do with electricity. They don't know how to fend for themselves or start a fire or cook out in the outdoors. Cab is a perfect example as being an Eagle Scout. He's learned all those traits and able to do that, but I can guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that couldn't even. The only way they can light a fire is with a match. They had no idea about the bow drill. They have no idea about a friction fire or any of that kind of stuff, or how to collect the right tinder to make a fire out in the real world. So I think you have a good point there, Merle. Maybe next time we'll talk about on the next weekend about going back to the 1900s and seeing if we can do it.
Yeah, well, just briefly, the thing that I don't like about those simulations is they too often go live, and I just don't see the point, really.
the thing that they're trying to do is they want to see the chaos and see what happens when they shut things down. And if you look at where they're doing this, you're talking Milwaukee, you're talking Madison, you're talking big areas where people there's gonna be looting, there's gonna be all that kind of stuff going on, and you have the military involved, and all it takes is one itchy trigger.
Yeah, if they actually do that, there's going to be problems, and they know it.
Milwaukee will go into civil unrest the first 2 days with no power. And just like Octaload had said.
And that's what a lot of people are wanting to happen. Yeah, I won't go into the politics of it, but there are a lot of people wanting that to happen. They want civil unrest. But that's for another day.
Yeah. Next week.
When are they talking about doing this?
The 15th through the 17th of this month. And the sad part of it is that they're shutting down Fond du Lac. It's one of the nuclear plants down there that powers that area. And they're going to let the smaller infrastructures take the heat from it. So you're talking about old technology now, and will the grid hold up? Because it's not pulling from the right spot. So, and they could fix this very easily, but they choose not to. Yeah, no GMO.
Yeah, we tried to fill the garden full of heirloom plants.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here too, Cab. And that's the reason why I started my channel, was to teach people that it's very easy to grow your own stuff, grow your own medicinal plants, grow your own food, chickens, meat birds, whatever opportunity you have. If it's this little garden box that you throw up because you don't have an area, at least you have something.
Yeah,
RJ says, I didn't mean to change the subject.
I'm firmly convinced that you can, in fact, live on a garden of proper size for the proper amount of people, and meat birds, chickens. I think that if you've got chickens, and I think I mentioned it last week, and 2 years worth of food, you're probably in as good a shape as anybody's going to be, at least until somebody comes and takes it away from you. But that's even another story for maybe 2 weeks from now.
There's so many things that we could talk about, but I mean, a perfect example was this winter. You guys seen all the snow that we got, where I showed videos of that. I couldn't get out of my driveway for 2 days, even with my big truck.
Yeah.
So I had to have 2 days of water, 2 days of food. If you take in, for example, Milwaukee and areas in downtown, a lot of those people, they're lucky to have 2 days of food in the refrigerator. So when things like that happen, you have to be prepared. Tommy says you need to raise some alligators for alligator shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I need, some alligator shoes.
Hey, Cab, you got to make a video on that, because I've seen so many different people talk about how to save your seeds. I actually want to learn the right way. Yeah, there's so many YouTube videos out there that show different ways. If I could find one that was the same, I would say, okay, this must be the right way, but I have yet to find that.
And you know what else is happening? There's a lot of people out there with various types of tomatoes who have started with heirlooms, but they've crossbred and cross-pollinated, and the seeds are no longer any good. But they're still saving them because they think the seeds are good.
Boy says a lot of people don't know what real love is. That's 100% true, bud.
100%.
You got a whole room right. You got a whole room right here that's showing you real love. Every single one, everybody that's in here cares about each other, one way or another.
That's why we're here. No,
The
I
nicest
forgot.
people.
I forgot.
But,
I'm here so I can make all this money off of YouTube.
yeah. If that's the case, I got an oceanfront property in Arizona. You want to buy
Yeah. I think Old Camp Ranch, he's the one that sells all that.
it? Love is where two people have feelings for each other. Well, there's other kinds. It's called brotherly love too, Alex. And sisterly love. That means that you care about that person. And love is not just an action, or it is an action, just not a feeling. It's how you treat somebody. And it doesn't have to be a
It's,
sexual way. It can just be somewhere of caring.
it's not an action, it's a reaction.
Right? There's no conditions on love. Right.
RG says my grandmother raised 5 kids on a truck garden, and we all had to help. And I thank her to this day. Which brings me to another story. My son, I'll try to make this quick. My son he wanted to play football, or I can't remember if it was football or wrestling now, but at any rate, whatever it was, he was in it for a couple of weeks, and he wanted to quit. And I said, well, let's talk about this. He said, no, I'm done with it. The coach is not treating me right. And I said, well, you don't start things and then quit. I said, you just go ahead and give it another month, and if you still want to quit, we'll talk about it again. He's 47 years old today, and he tells me that was the best thing that I ever did for him, was making him go back and finish that. So that was just a little something off the cuff there.
If we don't finish what we start, we never can have the fulfillment of what could have happened if we wouldn't have did what we did. So it's always a good thing to finish what you start. I'm glad, Alex. Love is something that you can do without, what you're doing in here tonight is a reaction to something that you have a feeling towards this topic, and you just being in here showing that. There's a lot of love in this room.
Yeah, there is. Anyone know how far your lettuce needs to be from other plants to save seed? I don't.
Yeah, I don't. I never save my lettuce seeds. I know if is it a head lettuce or is it just leaf lettuce? They're tiny. Because I know I grew some romaine last year, generally 6 inches with lettuce. There you go. The romaine lettuce, I had tops on them like this, was just loaded with seeds last year. It was unbelievable.
Well, I got to admit that my wife has always been the garden nut, but I don't know, since I got involved with the homesteader community, I've gone crazy about garden. I'm out there building raised beds and buying everything that it takes to make them good and all that. And I think I told you, I'm not trying to change the subject, but I think I told you about all that leaf mold that we put into bags and set them aside. Well, we forgot about them for like 3 or 4 years. And oh man, I'll tell you what, when we opened those bags, it was like gold.
Next, that was the funny thing is I watched in Europe. That's a huge thing in England. It's leaf mold. They'll have big piles of that stuff stacked up all over the place.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, you take control. I'm going to go get some more coffee.
Go right ahead. Yeah, I know what you mean, locked and loaded. I kind of think that occasionally, too. My wife's just a nut, But sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. Walter Davis, my wife gave the dishwasher away after 10 years of it sitting not hooked up. Are you related to Tommy by any chance? That's pretty good. Boy, you should have seen Mark working on this this video software today. I'd talk to him for a little while and I'd get him all confused, and I'd say, well, you know, maybe you ought to just go ahead and watch those videos. And after, I tell you, to be quite honest, Tommy, you'll appreciate this. He's the first one that I've seen take vMix and be able to use it in the same day on a live video. Okay, let's talk about Mark while he's gone. Yeah, but I shouldn't have been talking nice about him, though, right? Yeah, that leaf stuff is good, Tiny Hilltop. Man, I couldn't believe it. I remembered what it looked like when we put it in those bags and we set it over in the woods. And I don't know, it probably sat there for 3 or 4 years. And I don't think we realized what we were doing. It was kind of by mistake. But you talk about good stuff. TJ's Woodworking Shop, welcome. Welcome. We have talked about more things than we intended to, but I think we probably talked part of the subjects out, and it was
She had a big pot of coffee came in.
Time to take a break and have a laugh or two. She has no sink. She washes dishes on the back porch. Oh my gosh. It gets worse all the time.
Awesome brothers. Who's that? TJ Woodworking Shop. Yeah.
Well, we're happy to have you in the house, TJ. I tell you what, since last week's, I don't know, I had to start from scratch. I had homegrown country homestead, and I believe it was Cedar Creek. And then we had that thing last night, and Justin made a video, and you made a couple of videos. And I went from, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 SUBS to 100 and some. And I was glad to see all those people show up, too.
You were at when we started our live stream last week, and you're at 96.
Yeah, that's right. Was 96.
Yep.
And then people just started showing up from all over the place. Good people. That's the great thing. Mellow Moon's talking to you there, Mark.
My audio got worse.
We just need to get him a good microphone. That's all he needs. He needs
I got one. I just got to figure out how to use it.
He just needs a good Electro Voice RE27. That's all.
I already got a nice powered mic. I just got to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, it does take a little work to get them ironed out.
get them tuned.
I tell you, I have found, and I've got several mics, but I have found that a certain voice requires a certain mic to sound the best. And you just got to play with them till you get the right one. And what I do, a lot of people don't. A lot of people can't even stand it. But I have to wear these things in my ears so I can actually hear my own voice. And I can tell when it's right and when it's wrong. You know, if I can. Fortunately, lately, everything's been okay because audio is definitely not my thing. And I know there was a guy that said audio is not important, but that was a joke, by the way. And
I almost just made you 124 now.
What?
Yeah,
124. My goodness. Yeah, that's a bunch. I don't know. I've had more fun doing this because you're not just sitting in front of the computer all the time with this Homestead thing. You got stuff you got to do. You got to take care of the garden. You got wood to cut. We cut. That looks better. Whatever you did. We burned wood and didn't even turn the furnace on through this whole cold weather. And now it's time to get enough food to last us through the next year. So, and I gotta say that the older I get, the more that I do, the better I feel. I mean, I feel as good as I did when I was probably 50 years old. 125 subs. Uh-oh.
You're on a roll.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a 1,000 sub giveaway. So be sure you join in. Chickens is the next thing for me. Gotta have chickens.
Oh, we got chickens.
Oh, Tommy, you're just saying that. You're not going downhill. You don't look a day older than, well, what, 68? Yeah.
RJ says don't buy from Walmart. That'll fix the problem. I don't think you can get the stuff that we're running with by Walmart, but
not really.
The part is you're just reading the comments in the chat.
Yeah, I am too. But I gotta have 2 sets of. I want to try to get 2 sets of 15 meat chickens before the weather gets too bad. That should.
I actually just got I got 11 downstairs that we're starting with now. I just got the Red Rangers, and then I ordered and pre-ordered my next 20 will be coming in end of June. So my ones will get out, and then my new ones will be coming in.
That sounds just about right. And I want to. The only thing keeping me from doing it right now is the garden. I mean, I just don't have time to build what I need to build for the chickens. But hopefully it'll all work out one way or another. And Red Rangers, we've decided that's the way we're going to go. I think we may do
that's a good board.
We may do 1 set of Red Rangers and 1 set of Cornish hens, but I doubt it. I would just like to be able to say that I tasted both.
The one thing that I learned about the difference between the Red Rangers and the Cornish X's is that the Red Rangers are more of an active bird. They do a lot more foraging, where the Cornish will just sit by the feeder. They don't mind pooping on themselves and just sitting there and eating, and they have a lot of problems with their legs and stuff like that, where you're not going to get the weight out of the Red Ranger, but it's supposedly it tastes a lot better because it's more active and it's a healthier bird. So that's the reason why we chose the Red Rangers over the Cornish.
That's exactly what I've heard, and in most of the taste tests that I've seen, the Red Rangers won out as well. So, I mean, you know, you just can't expect something to just sit around and eat and be okay. I would far much rather see a bird be able to go out and forage for itself and not keep it all locked up in a tight contained place. If I could, I'd let them run all over the yard, but I'd say I'd lose 2 or 3 a day. All right, good folks. Cab7 says, I have to run for now. Thank you for a great live stream. Micro Homesteaders and Mark, be blessed, everyone. Thank you, Cab7.
Cab.
Thank you very much. Uh-oh. Tommy says, my ex-girlfriend, who I'm still on good terms with. Now, that's amazing in itself right there. Has just got chickens. She loves to sit and watch them. That's something I kind of thought that might be a defect of mine. Anytime we had pigs or chickens or cows or whatever, you always just kind of enjoy sitting there, standing or sitting and watching them eat. You'd think it'd be like watching paint dry, but it's not. It's pretty cool.
I'm over here. We had one of our other fellow YouTubers. They lost.
Yeah, I don't know about the comets. Do you have anything to say about that?
I just got an email from Bill56. What happened to the live stream?
As far as I know, we're all good. Let me see what my...
I don't think he'd seen a link in the...
I wonder maybe he just can't find us.
Hopefully that'll get him here.
Near as I can tell, everything's copacetic.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Walter says turkey chicks are a blast to watch when they're out.
Tommy likes to go to the lake and watch the water move. Yeah.
Yeah, we just found out today that we got a bunch of foxes and they've got little kits running around with them. So I'll be watching my birds a lot closer now that I know that they're around.
Oh yeah. We planted corn yesterday, and the wife came in this morning and said, well, I believe we have had a raccoon visitor over the night, but it wasn't devastating. So, okay. So we went out and looked, and it wasn't devastating by any means, but you could see the raccoon tracks right across the chicken bed, or the corn bed. Mm-hmm. So, man, I tell you, we have every kind of critter around here that's known to this part of Indiana. And I got another short story for you. It was within the last week. I went into a part of a shed that we have that we normally don't go into, and I opened up the door and looked in there, and here is a coon with about 4 or 5 little bitty ones. And I come and told the wife, and I said, I don't know what we're going to do about it because I can't kill them. They're too cute. So I guess we'll just have to hope we can run them off.
Well, we bought a deer farm, so the outer fence, there's an 8-foot deer fence all the way around our 2 acres where the chickens are in the garden. So then you have the fence for the garden, and then you have the chicken yard, which is fenced off. So there's like 3 fences before they get to where the chickens are. But Chad is lagging. Yeah, I see that, Justin.
Yeah, I think that happens occasionally. Just one of those things. It can't be for lack of internet. Just happened to be in a place where I've got 100 down and 25 up, so we got to blame this one on YouTube. Yeah, I've done that. L&L, I do a lot of trapping and relocating. But it sure is a job when you got all those little ones.
Yeah, you can almost catch the little ones and put them in a box.
The thing is, though, is if you don't take them far enough away, they're like trying to take a. I think my parents used to take my dogs and try to get rid of them, and one time I think the dog beat him back home.
There's Bill. Yeah, I saw your comment. It just popped up down in the corner, so I sent you that. I'm glad to see you're in here.
I am too, and that's a new name to me, but I'll be checking you out because we're trying to help one another the best we can.
Yeah.
And
Thomas says, "Go get some skunk scent."
Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt, to be honest. The trouble is, if you look in my channel there, you'll see a skunk and a groundhog that acted like they were friends out here in the yard. That's kind of amazing. You would have thought one of them. You would have thought one of them would run away.
Now, see if you get yourself a wolverine or a badger, then you take heed right in the yard there, and everything would be running away, including you.
Yeah, we don't have many badgers, I don't think, anymore. They were fairly rare when I was a kid, but I don't think there's hardly any left.
Here's another story. If you look at Mella Moon's comment there, she almost kept 2 banded skunks, but I made her get rid of them. We were living in town in a duplex that we had 5 of us in it, only was able to hold about 3. And she found these 2 baby skunks come in. I tried to explain to her that as they get older, we just don't have the room in this little place, and I don't think their landlord would have loved to have 2 baby skunks living in there.
Boy, they're cute though, and you can have them fixed, I guess. So
yeah, you can. They're supposed to be like a. You just have to kind of. I heard they're just like cats. So, RJ, Roy, know my area. We have all kinds of predators in my area. We just have to deal with them.
Yeah,
that's what we do too.
You got to do what you got to do. Tommy said he heard there was a bunch of badgers in Wisconsin.
You know that I think as a kid I've seen badgers twice. And as an adult now, I haven't seen hardly any. But I got a funny story about a badger. We were on our back 40 field, and I was raking hay, and I come across up the hill, and I come back on the back side of that hill, and a badger come flying out of there, grabbed a hold of the back tire of the tractor, and was going around with the tractor tire until I got a ways down the field, and then it'd go back into his hole.
Golly.
What a stupid animal. And yep, I actually called and I said, "Hey, you got to come out here." And so Dad came out there and looked at that, and he couldn't believe it. So we just kind of left that corner alone. But she had pups in there, and that was the problem. She was coming out to protect the pups and the tractor vibration in the ground. She come out of there running.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was walking around Madison University. Yeah, Tommy. There's a lot of badgers around there.
Yeah, that's what I
Hey,
heard
Bill,
too.
I think Cab left. He had to go to another chat.
Yeah, I just went to Bill's channel and looks like he's a chatter too. So we'll have to check on him.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's the thing is, the subject that we were going to talk about was building your live stream and some of the software that you can use. It's depends on how you want to look at it and how you want to do it. If you want to look the professional way and have the the green screens and stuff like that. I made a comment before that my virtual cam after 3 days had a nice comment for me. So that didn't work out so hot.
Yeah, it just happened all of a sudden, didn't it?
So
well, I
if
tell
you
you,
guys don't mind listening.
what I recommend to anybody that's thinking about doing a live video or just doing a recorded video for YouTube or what have you, start out with something like a C920 camera, which is only about $50, and grab you up an ATR 2100 microphone for about another $50, and you actually already have what you need to do what you want to do, and then go from there.
But don't you got to get a power, with the amplifier for the mics, or does that mic come with one?
Yeah, you kind of do, but no, you don't. The ATR 2100 is a USB mic, plugs right into the computer, and believe it or not, they actually sound pretty good. They really do. And if you ever listen to Tommy, I think he's using one. A lot of guys do. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can get started for nearly nothing, and then if you like it, all well and good, if you can afford it, buy some really fancy stuff, or heck, the way it is nowadays, the phones are good enough to do almost anything you really want to do. I mean, they may not be perfect, but it's a start. If it's something that you're wanting to do and you have a cell phone, you can already do it.
This here is one of my best mics that I've had for my cameras. Right here is the Rogue, and this little guy has got some snort behind it. And it's another thing too is that you can actually use one of these like your camera mics, and it just plugs into the computer. It does carry batteries, so it's a powered mic, and it has the you can go plus 10, plus 20 on the decibels, and it's got the cancellation in there, voice cancellation, so you're going to get rid of the room noise. Here's another idea too: is if you get one for your camera, make sure you can multi-purpose with it. More or less what I was saying.
Yeah, those are good mics too. They do a good job. I bought one of the. It's on a similar style mic from that place out east. They call it China. It was only about $25, but it was a tax star, and I thought I'd give it a shot, and it did help. We were shooting some stuff in the kitchen back when the weather was really bad, and all those hard surfaces, that noise just bounced all over everything. It was terrible. And believe it or not, that $25 mic actually did do some good. It really did. It was surprising to me, but it was based on that road there. Anyway, what I was trying to get at a while ago was don't run out and spend a whole bunch of money, because it may turn out to be something that you don't want to stay
Right.
involved in, because you can always work yourself up. Mike,
If you don't enjoy it,
Tommy started out with just that, a C920 and a 2100 USB mic and OBS. Well, that's all you need, really.
now if I could figure out how to get the OBS to work with the virtual camera, because in order to go to Google Hangouts and stuff like that, you need to have a virtual camera. That'd be good.
Yeah, it would. I will wager, though, that after 60 days, with what you got right now, you're not going to want to give it up. You just won't want to. What I did was I started out with what you're using today. And after my 60 days was up, I thought, well, I'm not really going to do anything live. I hadn't planned on doing any live stuff at all. And I thought, well, I can get by with this $60 version of the software. And I did for a good long time. And I was kind of talked into to upgrading by Tom Willis and some of those guys on World of Live Streaming. Anyway, it's good stuff. It really is. And if you just wanted, for a one-man show, $60 will get you an awful lot of good stuff. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna, another thing is laptops are kind of hard to use, because I just don't think they've got the power like a desktop has to push. But that's just my opinion.
Well, you can get a high-powered laptop, but you're going to spend a lot of money for it. What I did was, and you can still get them, I bought a workstation that has two 6-core Xeon processors in it and 24 gig of memory. And I haven't got it, asked it to do anything that it won't do so far. I'm using 20% of the processors, so I got pretty lucky, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Walter. Bye, Walter. Come back and see us. And thanks for coming.
I built my desktop here back in 2010 for when I was going to college and doing live streaming. When I was on, because there you had to have a live stream and then you had the power to go into the classes, and been using it ever since. And being that it's 8 years old, I'm just limping by here.
That's a pretty good deal, Tommy. He uses a $350 version, and he uses the same license to stream at home and at church, and that's a good deal. You can use your license for 2 separate computers, as long as they're not both on at the same time. And I've never dealt with a business any nicer than these people either.
Yeah, he's running an i7 too, so.
Yeah, you just
I'm
about. You almost need
it. I got an i5 in mine.
It will work with an i5 or better.
Yep. You're seeing i5 right now, so.
Looks like it's doing okay, and that the video card's working okay too. What are you using? Just, I'm curious. What's your total processor usage?
Let me go and click and look here.
It's on vMix right down at the bottom.
Yep. My CPU usage is 32%. My total is at 81.
Yeah, you're just about to the end there. Yeah. But still, that's okay.
Oh, Locked and Loaded threw up us another video. Hurry up, come and join us in the live stream chat. And Micro Homesteaders just put up another video.
Oh, no kidding.
You guys good.
Must be a slow news night. Yeah, between Justin and Dabu7, I get all my news firsthand.
Says I'm not. RJ says I'm not sure if I want to do a live stream. I don't know how to get other people up online like you, Farm Boy, does. Maybe someday. Well, RJ, you can go to Google Hangouts, and then that's Farm Boy does it. Or like me and Merle are doing it here. We're using the VMAX, and we can have each other on there. But that's a good point. If you're not, if you just want to do videos and not live stream, then you don't need the heavy duty software.
That's right.
But if you're going to do live stream, and to tell you the truth, what I've learned with live streaming versus my videos, you look at it here, we've been on now for 2 hours. At one point here, Merle was up to 19 people in the room. We're down to 13. So for you guys that are trying to build a channel, and if you really want to get to the point where you're over that 1,000 mark, and you got to have 4,000 hours of actual watch time before you can actually get monetized. By this time watching, if you figure out 13 people, 2 hours of sitting here watching this thing, it does boost your time to watch tremendously. And if you're good at talking and people like your content and like coming to your live streams, it's a good way for you and your friends to share each other and really grow your channel. And the best part of it is like I got locked and loaded. Like I told Merle here today, you'll probably get 50 or 60 people that are true subs. And me and Locked and Loaded put up a video of this live stream pretty much the same time, a couple hours apart. And I've got 1,700 subscribers, and he's right around 800 or 900. I had 34 views on mine when he was at 50, 60. So that's what you want, is the true subscribers coming to your channel, the true people that are going to come day in and day out and come back and forth. Those are the people you're looking for. And it's hard to find them. And once you get them, you got them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I came to YouTube, I didn't have any intentions of doing anything live at all. As a matter of fact, when I bought my first camera, I figured I would record some stuff, maybe do some reviews or what have you, and just kind of let it go at that. But live is fun, actually, after a while. I remember
it is, because you get the interaction with it.
Some of the first live stuff I did, though, I was so nervous I couldn't hardly say my own name, but it gets a little better.
And what's really cool about live stream is you're able to have interaction with your viewers. So that's a cool thing about it, is I get to react to. If you watch one of my videos, you got to leave a comment, and I got to get back to you. Here, you can actually see what's going on. I wish my Canon is able to do. It's got Wi-Fi built into it, so I could actually do a live stream with my Canon. But the problem is our house is brick, and I lose connection to my internet probably walking about 10 feet out the door.
Yeah, well, what you need is a capture card and about 100 feet of cable, and then you can go right on.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. Mikey was asking me the other night to go do a live stream up at a fire. That's what I was watching last night, and so I'd put up the picture that I have or something like that. This is going to be the only fire that I'm going to have, because I can't, unless I take my camera, go tape it, and bring it back in. That's the only way.
Yeah. Thomas, I got to tell you about that 1 meg. Tommy and I both know a guy that does usually about a 2.5 hour show with 1 meg. Now, I honestly can't figure out how he does it, but he does. I'm told that he uses a router where he's able to send every little bit of internet to the proper places. But he actually does a show, and the name of the show is World of Live Streaming. So, and he does it in England, and goes to all over the world. It's amazing.
Another one is S. Woods is in the house, Sue.
Yes. S. Woods.
Yep.
We're glad to see you. Thanks for coming, Sue.
I think I'm going to go to the moon.
I may have to order another cup of coffee.
There we go.
Yeah. Tommy, we're old, but we're still nerds, aren't we? I never. It's crazy.
Actually, I was kind of impressed that the VMAX, the software is really user friendly, and the tutorial videos that they have online. I watched 3 or 4 of them, and I had pretty much gotten what I needed to get this thing up and rolling, and make some really cool. I did have some really cool different designs set up, but we had a problem with our backing, and we thought it was on my end, so I ended up deleting them all.
Well, you're not supposed to delete them, darn it. Yeah, it was on. What he's trying to say, it was my fault. Well, it really was. Yep. I've never dealt with a company like this before, though. They're supposed to charge you so much a year, but they haven't been taking the money. They're from Australia, and the way this software got started was a guy needed this kind of software so he could live stream from his church. So he just built it. And after a while...
Tommy, was that you?
No. Wasn't Tommy, but that's how it got started.
Thanks, Farm Boy. We appreciate the thumbs up.
We sure do. We appreciate all you do.
Yeah.
I say Farm Boy is a good man. I don't care what Mark says about him.
Only thing I always tease him about is paying his YouTube bill.
Why did they shut him off every once in a while?
No, it was me and Texas Savage, and there was a bunch of people in there, and Keith came in there, and he was having problems with his Google Hangouts that was on YouTube, and Keith mentioned to him, well, you didn't pay your YouTube bill or your streaming bill, Farm Boy. And it's his face and the way he looked, it's like, what? It was hilarious.
Yeah. Where'd you go, TJ?
He's back. Farm Boy's a good man. Yeah, Texas Average will tell you that was the funniest. Yeah, Farm Boy goes, ha ha ha. I'm not picking on you, bud. It was just, your face was just worth it. That was like the $1 million picture right there. Appreciate you guys' channel. Well, thank you. Well,
we appreciate you being here. We sure do.
So there's a couple ways that you can actually live stream too without this software. You can actually just get a camera, and YouTube has YouTube Live now, where you just go and do your thing. Google Hangouts is another one. You can go on there. All right, thanks. Chicken and gardens are closed up.
Yeah, you can actually do a pretty good job. I mean, a fair job of live streaming for $100. You really can.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize that. So I try to encourage anybody that wants to buy that C920 and the ATR 2100, and you're in business. You can do it. And don't be scared. Invite all your close friends to come and talk to you for a while, and you just kind of become second nature.
That's what I was going to tell Texas Savage. If you're worried about getting online and talking like that and doing live streams, get a group of people and do a closed event, and some of your close friends, and just come in there and start going at it. And it'll make things a lot easier. I know been thinking about this live stream all week, what to say, what to do, and I was driving myself mad until I just settled down and just kind of roll with it. And that's kind of the best time, But I did a lot of research. I was trying with different software. It took me probably 4 days to get OBS the way I wanted, and then I kept hearing trial. So I had to dump that and go to a new one.
Yeah, free software is never free.
That's the bottom line is it may be free, but you're paying for it somewhere. I use CyberDirect for all my YouTube videos. It's a rendering software. I've had it now since I started YouTube, and it's an awesome software. And you can do a lot of stuff in there and make a lot of different things. And it's right next to this one. I mean, with VMAX. So.
I said that it's never free. Software is never free. I got to take that back. I use Linux on 2 of my other machines, and that is free and open source. And I also use a video editor called Shotcut. And when I first started using it, I thought I'll just never catch on to this. But every time I had a question, I just typed it into YouTube, and there was somebody there with an answer for me. So I've actually gotten to where I'm pretty good with it anymore. But I do try to video my stuff so I don't have to use an editor. I oftentimes will pre-record things that I don't have to use an editor with too. So, you can that's another thing, Mark, you can do with vMix. After you catch on to what's going on here, you can use it for an editor too, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I mean,
I know one thing is when you like with me using CyberDirect, I know everything about it. I can speed things. You can do so much so quick, and I can load my templates in. So when I drop in a video, you're doing your editing. You got your starters, your finishers. It's all set in place. You just throw your video in there and you're done. And when it comes to new software, it takes a little bit. And one of the biggest things that I've learned though is that when you purchase something, it's already outdated. So yeah. You got to go with the flow. Our technology, even though we talked about it earlier today about technology is ruining our children and stuff like that, it's because some of the technology that we can use is to help us out, but we have to be an understanding of. And I'm not a tech guy at all. It takes me a while to get used to something, but this was very easy software, and it was pretty user friendly once I got into it and figured some stuff out and watched some videos. So.
Yeah, Tommy says, Merle, would it be ethical to tell folks that are interested in live streaming about our other show? Why, sure. Yeah.
I actually put that link in the chat there, Merle, because I looked for it the other day, and I could not find it.
Oh, we'll take care of that. We sure will. The reason I think that you had trouble was because there was a name change. We used to call it This and That, and found out that there was too many things on YouTube called This and That. So we changed it to World of Live Streaming, and I thought that was a pretty good name.
I looked it up, and there's a bunch of other stuff popped up. It wasn't that. So I figured I'll just wait to talk to you, get the link. It's free. What's free, you liar, farm boy?
It's actually listed still under Step Back in Time TV, I think, which is
So Locked and Loaded is asking, what's it about?
it's about live streaming. Almost anything that you can think of to talk about in the way of live streaming, we talk about it. But mostly, we have been known to talk about vMix and how to live stream with vMix. So,
What time do you guys do this?
we do this live on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's broadcast from just outside of London, England.
I'll have to watch a replay. I'll be working.
But
That's pretty,
sometimes there'll be as many as 10 or 12 people on at the same time. He uses vMix with Zoom, so we're able to bring all the people on that we want to. I don't know if this chat will let me put this in there or not, but I'll try it.
here, Tommy got it. I gotta hit show. There he goes.
But it's good sometimes. Sometimes it's not so good. Most times we have a good show. We enjoy putting it on anyway. I'm not there every week since it's got to be garden season. And if it rains every day but Monday, I got to be out there in the garden. So.
All right.
But yeah, anybody that's interested in live streaming, that's where you want to go. And for new live streamers, you want to go also to School of Live Streaming, and I'll put that one in there too. I sure will. Because he starts from as if you're a baby and you don't know anything, and teaches you how to use vMix.
Hey, there's Let 'Em Snow. How's it going, bud? Bill's gonna get out his guitar.
And
No, Fireboy VMAX isn't free.
What was that?
Fireboy asked if VMAX was free.
No, nothing any good is free. Almost nothing. Wait, I take that back. They do have a free version. Yeah, they do. It's somewhat limited, but it works. And some people use it for certain things.
You can't have a live stream like what we're doing right now with the free version.
No.
I wish I could figure out how to get my side to work, because I can have, for 60 days here, I can have 8 people up here. So
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get that squared away. I can't figure out what's going on, and it. Bad as I hate to say it, it could be something I'm doing wrong because I've never been on that side of it before. But you know, it's not that complicated. It should work if it's set up right.
Tiny, that I don't know. I think your live stream would be fast enough because he was just saying how one person had one gig and he's doing it.
1 meg, yeah.
1 meg. So,
but it would be difficult. I would say that the average person probably can't do it. In fact,
Locked and Loaded says God's love is free and priceless.
Yes, and I should have realized that when I said what I did. Yeah, we're using.
I'm using. Yeah.
Yeah, we're using vMix. VMIX. And we actually have a closed encrypted connection between us, which I'm sending to YouTube. But if you'll notice, and I'm not trying to brag, but if you'll notice this stream, the quality of the video is quite a little bit better, I think, than YouTube Hangouts or Google Hangouts. But I don't know. Google Hangouts have their place for sure.
I think there's Hangouts too. Is even though it's it's a free software, but you got to remember it's attached to YouTube because Google and YouTube are intertwined.
Yeah.
So a lot of your problems and a lot of your different glitches that happen on Google Hangouts is just because it's overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's free, and it is what it is, you know. But I also am fortunate enough here to have a good internet. I've got 100 down and 25 up. And it's not because I spent a lot of money for it. I just happen to be in a area of the country where there's a lot of internet.
Mm-hmm. And guys, I'm gonna yeah, it sounds like I'm in a can because I haven't got my mics set up right. We're gonna cut the tuning part of it short today, so it'll be better next week.
Yeah, it won't take long to get it ironed out. But to be quite honest, I've never seen anyone set up I've never seen anyone set up vMix in one day and use it that night. That's a first for me.
And you know what? I think I might know the reason why it's doing it.
Part of it is just room noise. I can tell. It just is. It's it's bouncing around.
I think I have the problem figured out.
What do you think it is?
I just have to get the. Well, when you go to your settings in your computer, I have the equalizer set up on, and I'll bet you any money that
in most cases with vMix, you don't even want to turn it on, the equalizer.
Right, exactly. And what the problem is I just figured it out, is that my one mic is set on 44 and just told me I'm using it in another connection. There's the problem, is my mic on the computer is set to 44 and in VMAX it's set to 48, so it's giving it that. And I can't do any adjustments right now because I'm using it. But I found the problem. I figured it out. And it might be the fact if I turn this one off, turn the big one off, does it sound better now?
You mean you had two mics on?
Yeah.
Well, that was the trouble.
Does it sound better now?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, that was a problem. I had my big mic also.
Yeah.
There.
How about that?
Just like that, figure the problem out.
Well, I thought earlier that, remember I asked you, did you have the mic on your C920 or something?
I was just like, I look at it, I'm looking, oh man, right there. The amplifier
Yep.
light's on, like, there you go.
Yeah, that was it. Aha! 3 cheers.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Well, it definitely helped, for sure. A lot.
That's good. Now we can dance. Touch the earth, however you want to look at it.
I still think the closer you get to that mic, the better it sounds. I know this one's that way anyhow.
I'm not used to this. I'm not using this one anymore, so I'm just using
You're
one
not.
on my head.
You're using one on your head.
Yep.
Yep.
Texas Savage made it to her 312 marks. Thanks to everybody to help me. She was raising money to go see her father, who is not doing so hot. So that's great.
That is absolutely excellent. I like it when stuff like that happens.
Hold on, Tommy. You say that. So what? Go to your input for your mic on VMAX. Right click on the screen and click reset. What is he talking about?
Well, he's talking about you should have an input.
Yep.
For your mic. Right click on it and click reset.
Okay, did that. It just dropped my gain down to 0.
Well, it didn't hurt anything.
Oh, okay.
Not a thing. What kind of headset is that?
VTIN, USB powered mic.
Well, sounds pretty good. Now it does.
Now it sounds good, yeah. Yeah, I got 2 cams too, Mike, or Thomas. But only one's on right now.
Yeah, really.
Only the good one.
It can be overwhelming, though, when you kind of think you'd like to do something, you know, but you don't know what to buy. You know, I thought I just wanted what I needed to record videos, but I ended up with a whole lot more than that after it was all over. It's kind of like any other hobby that I ever had. It seems to be more expensive for all of my hobbies than anything that I've never had a hobby that didn't cost me a bunch of money.
You know, the thing is too is you know, this, it's kind of like a money pit. You got to find out where that cutoff point is, and that's as far as you want to go.
Well, yeah, it's not really what you need; it's what you want.
Yeah.
That's more.
By the time you sticking the green screens in there and all the different other stuff, there's, you know, you can do a lot.
$18 people watching and 2.5 hours into the show. That's pretty good.
Yep. We'll be right back.
I'm tickled with that. Thomas, it's not really that bad, is it? He says, I can't say much. I'm lucky I can turn on my phone. Well, I had trouble turning my phone on up today when I was talking to Mark, because I took the little outside rubber piece off of it, and then I couldn't get to the buttons. I stick this thing in a tripod when I go out in the garden, just in case I want to do something. in case I see something I think I might use at a later date. And it wouldn't fit in there with the thing all the way around it. So I don't. Be quite honest, I'm not much into cell phones, to be honest. If it wasn't for the fact that I can use this one for an extra camera, I'm sure I wouldn't have it. It was pretty handy talking to Mark today, though.
I still got a echo.
It's all room noise. What's left? I'm sure it is. I'd bet anything. It just likes to bounce on any hard surface.
Yeah, and the thing of it is I'm sitting actually in front of me. There's the two walls, so
right.
It's probably bouncing right off of there. So
I think a little bit that helps me is my desk is not pointed towards the wall. The wall's behind me.
Yep.
And this room is probably 12 feet wide, and I've got it just full of stuff. I mean, there's not all that many places that anything could bounce. And the closer I get to the mic, the better it sounds usually.
Yeah, I was thinking about turning it around and the other way, but that would really put a damper on my room here. Because this is actually my office, so.
Yeah. Do you work at home, or do you?
No, I'm a tool and die maker. This is just for my my YouTube, and then the gardening and the farm stuff like that. So it's more or less.
I got lost here in chat somewhere. Tommy says, "Let it snow. I can't afford to get sick. It would be cheaper to die." Yeah, it's kind of the way I feel in a way. I mean, I got to be really sick, really sick before I go to the doctor.
Mark, you have to talk for us to know.
Tom Willis, agree. And when you get help, it makes things worse, in my experience. Sometimes. That's true, too. Yep. Thomas, too broke to pay attention. Yeah, that's where I'm at. But, I don't know. We don't have much money, and that's a fact. But we are probably happier than a lot of people that are rich.
Yeah, she works from.
RG says, "This is a great chat we have had, and I hope enjoy. Thumbs up pleases." Yes, thank you very much for the thumbs up.
Yeah, thanks, RJ.
Do you know that Mellow Moon person very well?
Yes, I do.
I thought maybe that you might.
She's in the other room.
Sue says we won't have to worry about that. The government has death panels in Obamacare. Yeah, I'm not sure just yet, but I think that we might be able to take care of those death panels. I hope so. Yeah, I like that too. RG, you got it right. I have no job. I quit. It was not fun. I cannot blame you.
I got 30 more years before I can quit.
I tell you, I say this all the time. You know, the people that have a job that they enjoy are the luckiest people, some of the luckiest people around. Because I absolutely hated to go to work. I just never had a job that I actually enjoyed going to. Just
well, for the most part, I enjoy mine. I don't have somebody telling me what to do. If my machine is messed up, it's my own fault. Yeah, it makes things a lot easier. But sometimes you're supporting other people when you're making tools, so they can. I need this now. I need that now. It can be pretty hectic in a hurry.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it's a skilled trade too, so you can, being a machinist, you can, if I want to, I can go wherever I want.
Well, yeah, look at all the money you're making too. What do you do with all your money, Mark?
I spend it on YouTube.
You pay your YouTube bill?
I pay my YouTube bill, yep.
Oh, well.
The thing of it is what really helped us out a lot is that when you have a homestead and you have your chickens and you have your garden, if you want to think about the cost that you spend in 1 year just on vegetables, and then figure out what your cost for 1 year is on meat. Well, when you can go and buy a chicken for $1 or $1.50, or for like the Red Rangers, they're up in the $3.50, $4 mark. But look what you have after you're all said and done. Last year we put away a cow. This year we're going to do the chickens, the gardening. That's all ways to save money because you're not going to the store and buying something. If we got to go to the store, we're buying toiletries, just the main stuff.
Yeah, you're saving money in more than one way there too, Mark. You're not going to the doctor as often as if you were buying food from the grocery store either.
Right.
And I have heard that in some places in the country that good non-GMO poultry goes for $6 a pound. Can you imagine paying $30 for a chicken?
Mm-hmm. I was looking online for the meat birds, $3.52 a pound. That's what at market right now, and that's for your Cornish X's, and I think it was 5 something for the Red Rangers.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember which one it was, but one of the regular Homestead channels that I watch, they sell their chickens, some of them at least, and they charge $6 a pound processed. So
you look at you're getting non-GMO, you're getting organic. It's so much healthier and so much better.
No antibiotics.
No antibiotics. And the thing of it is that it, like Snow says, it gives you a peace of mind because I know where my food came from. Vegetables, for instance, like if you go and a red pepper bell pepper is very nutritious for you, but by the time you get it from the store, you got all that stuff pumped into them, and all the nutrients just come out of there. So you're not getting healthy by eating and growing your own stuff. You're getting the vitamins and minerals that you need back into you, and it's all coming from your garden. So you're saving yourself from, like you said, doctor bills. You're saving yourself from going to the store to buy food, everything around. So the homestead is like a whole circle. It's a good thing.
That's exactly right. And people that are, I know I was guilty of it 20 years ago, of buying a lot of processed lunch meat and all that processed stuff out of the grocery. I wouldn't eat that poison anymore for nothing. If I had to go out and eat wild edibles, I wouldn't eat that processed stuff anymore. It's no good. Homesteady was getting more. Sue says Homesteady was getting more than that where he is moving away from. He's going to PA and won't get as much there. Yeah, it'll vary a little bit, but I think probably $6.50 for organic eggs. Ooh.
Hey, I'm charging $3 a dozen right now, and I have no problem actually with that. And I've got people that actually ask me to hard boil eggs because I do a pressure canner or pressure cooker way of hard boiling the eggs so they're fresh. And he'll pay that extra money just because it's easier to peel, and he knows that the eggs are organic. They're the best. And I've had a lot of comments on how good our eggs taste. And I'll tell you what, if you go from farm eggs and then you go and buy a dozen of them other eggs, they taste like they're fake.
Well, I can buy organic eggs here for about $2 a dozen, and I think I was paying $4 for duck eggs, and I'm told that's pretty good. Or maybe that was $3.50. I don't know, but it was. I thought it was cheap, but hopefully I'll have my own soon. This is kind of a second go around for the wife and I. We lived on a small 8-acre farm when we raised our kids. And then we moved in a little closer to town on 1 acre. So we just started going back to the good life maybe 6 months ago or so. She's always raised a garden, but nothing like what we're doing now.
Yeah, and the good thing about it too is homesteading is just the next stage in prepping, because once you got it established, especially with the fruit trees, look at what's going on. You've had the fires in Hawaii's with the volcano. Down south, you had the flooding and the fires. You had the late snow. All that produce is going to go up in price. So the people that have to go and get that in the stores are going to be hurting. And when that goes up, the gas goes up, the fuel goes up, there's a full circle on that. So when you have it at home and you can just go outside and pick it yourself, there's a big difference.
Well, you're not kidding. So, the preppers kind of got a bad name from some of the stuff that went on mainstream television, mostly. But, as a homesteader, we're preppers. We're growing vegetables that we're going to eat 6 months or a year from now. So, you're prepping any way you want to look at it, and you're doing that if you want to live properly. That's just what you got to do, and you can do it to a certain degree. I don't care if you're living in a high-rise apartment building. If you can put anything up in a window or on a balcony, you can still raise a lot more than you might think. Tommy says six hens for a family of 4. Would that work? I think so. Yeah, that ought to be good. Kind of depends on how they're laying, but
yeah, if you look at it, you got 6. I'm going to say you're going to get 4 to 5 eggs a day. So.
Might be a little slim there, but
that might be cutting it a little bit close.
Be okay if you didn't eat eggs every day.
Mm-hmm.
I've been eating for I don't know about a year and a half. I eat oatmeal every morning. Oatmeal with blackstrap molasses.
I just bought 2 gallons of blackstrap.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Online or from somebody?
No, actually, Amazon. They had the gallon jugs of blackstrap for $7.99 a gallon.
Gee, many Christmas! I think the cheapest I saw it was $20, and I thought that was fair. I'll look at that.
I saw that, and I grabbed that up in a hurry.
I'll look for that. It's probably gone now, but I'll look anyway. That stuff's good for you. It really is. I think, if I remember right, it was they said something about 2 or 3 tablespoons a day or something like that.
Mellow Moon, what's blackstrap used for? And where was Tom? Right now I got 20 hens that are laying, and we go probably, if everybody's home, we can sit down and eat almost a dozen eggs in the morning for breakfast. And I'm still able to fill orders. I got some guys that'll come up here and they'll buy 5 dozen at a crack. So it just depends on how your hens are laying. They're going to slow down in the winter, Yeah, I don't know why he wasn't wearing a spade. He was wearing camouflage. You weren't supposed to see him.
I don't know if it would help let it snow, but the oatmeal that I eat is GMO oatmeal, and the difference is like day and night between Quaker and GMO, non-GMO. And with the blackstrap molasses, I kind of like it. And I don't think I ever ate kimchi before. I've heard of it, but I've never tried it.
We we don't do the kimchi. We do. I got fermented cabbage, which is the same thing. What kimchi does is gives you good probiotics in the morning, and probiotics is the central for your guts. To your guts are your most important part of your body, and if they're correct, everything else falls in line. And a quarter cup of fermented cabbage, kimchi like that a day in the morning is equivalent to a whole bottle of probiotics that you buy in a store. So they're both very good for you.
So, wife and I think we're going to do the cabbage pretty soon.
I always have two going, and I got one in the fridge or flat. So these two will go back in the fridge, and then we'll start another two. So
Tommy wants to know what would be a good laying chicken for the Deep South.
you're going to need a bird that can handle the heat. Up here, I use Red Rangers. No, not Red Rangers. I use Long Island or Rhode Island Reds. I have the Jersey Giants. We just recently got three Brahmas. They're heavy layers and they lay eggs. They don't mind the cold at all. So you have to look for your area. One of the best things I can tell you is the site that I go to is McMurray Chicken Hatchery. They look at your area. They'll tell you which best birds are for your area. So find a chicken hatchery for you, and then you can go from there.
The wife said that in Middle Tennessee they had Rhode Island Reds all the time down there, but that's not what you'd call the Deep South.
No, the Rhode Island Reds are a good all-around bird. The other thing that you guys might want to check into is a multi-purpose bird, which is going to be a good for a meat bird or layers. You get a straight run, you get some meat, some layers. There's a lot of different ways to do things. The other thing to really produce, the other good way to get your chickens to really start producing, which I just found out here the other day, is a yogurt. Plain yogurt is a good way to kickstart your chickens from laying eggs. Especially like I did last year. The year before, I was kind of pushing my birds with lights, natural lighting in there, so they were laying all through the winter. They're going to need some time to molt, so you're going to have a period of time where your chickens ain't going to lay that good, but then they're going to come back.
Hello, Dirt Cheap Homesteader. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. But my go-to birds are going to be the Red Ranger or Rhode Island Reds, the Burmas, Jersey Giants, all for my kind of temperature. Brahmas, and you also want to look at too is your birds, because there are different breeds that are smart and there are some that are really, really dumb, and I happen to have them leghorns, and they're not the brightest person in the deck, put it that way.
Come back and see us, Mellow Moon. Thanks for being here.
Oh, she's going to go and watch you go yabba yabba. But I'll tell you one thing, the chickens are the workhorse of, and I say this time and time again, of a homestead, because they give you the fertilizer, they help you to build the compost, everything that comes out of the garden you can take and feed to your birds, and they turn it into compost for you. They're such a good tool to have on the homestead. And a lot of people will say, you know, you don't need a rooster. Well, I've got eagles that come in here, and I'm glad I got a rooster because he does watch his girls closely. He gives them warnings. He's actually threw food in their face, picked worms for them. So I happen to have a really good rooster, but I heard they're hard to find.
Good rooster and a couple of geese.
Yeah. Well, I got a story about a geese. I had a friend of mine that had geese and he had turkeys, and I got attacked every single time I went over to his house. The turkey would sit up in the trees and he would chase you. And the one time I kicked that thing all the way to the barn, and he come back mad. And I've seen geese lock on to people and don't let go. So
Yeah. But those
I'm
turkeys,
hoping.
yeah, go ahead.
I said I'm hoping my Brahmas, because Brahmas are a big bird to begin with. I'm hoping they take care of that. So. Yeah, then turkeys, it can get nasty.
Yeah, Thomas, you may that may work out for you better than you think, having chickens with the pigs. It's worth a try.
Yeah, bird rocks are good birds too, Sue. That's Melamoon's favorite there. I've been trying to get them birds 3 times now, and it's like impossible.
Oh, you're wanting to take them away from her?
Oh, she wants me to order some bird rocks, and every time we go to McMurray's to get them, they're out.
Oh, I see.
So they must be really a popular bird.
Yeah, some pigs do eat chickens, I bet.
So,
I never tried to put them together.
that might be. It might get a little messy.
You never know till you try it.
Yeah. I do want to get some ducks, but it might be next year.
Yeah, I keep telling the wife I'm going to get some ducks. She thinks I've just gone clear crazy with this homesteading business. You know, I'm out here in the garden working like crazy. She doesn't quite understand that yet, I don't think. And I'm telling her that I'm going to get all these chickens and these meat chickens and laying chickens and ducks and turkeys and geese and she said you better go get a job so you can buy chicken feed.
You know, the thing too is I actually last year I purchased a chipper because we had stuff laying around here, and I just figured by the time you buy chips and you get it all decomposed to make the mulch, you might as well just buy the chipper and use the stuff that's on the land. But as I'm looking at this even more, you know, with the corn, you got corn stalks. After you pick your sweet corn, you throw it through the chipper and you give it to your birds. It's just like giving them corn silage.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's free feed.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing with all your rest of your garden stuff. So there's so many things that you can use on your land, and my theory is if I can keep it here, it's going to be the best because there's no additives to it. And when you're paying $10 for 50 pounds of chicken feed, or no, what is it? Almost, yeah, $11, $12 for a bag of chicken feed, and I can turn around and if I'm planting 370 corn seeds this year, so you figure I get 300 corn stalks, you chip that up, you know, you got some good feed there.
You just reminded me. I've got 2 big stacks of limbs and sticks and stuff that I gotta. I'll probably this time go rent a chipper, but it's stuff that's been pretty much stacked up over a period of 5 or 6 or 7 years. So those will be good, I guess, to throw out in the garden. If nothing else, we'll put them in a walk path.
If you look at it this way, and how I looked at it is I went and looked at the cost to rent a chipper, and it was like $300 and something to rent the chipper. Well, I said, well, that's half a payment on a chipper that you can buy.
Oh, I can't imagine it would be that much around here. You know, I could be very surprised, I suppose, but I figured I could get one for probably $50 or $75 for half a day or something. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll let you know what happened. That's a lot of money to rent a chipper, man. That's crazy.
That's what I said. So I'm like, well, I might, and then if you got wood laying around, you always got tree branches coming down, and I really could kick myself in the butt because we went and trimmed all our pine trees up in a chicken run there, and we ended up burning a lot of that stuff. And I'm like, well, that was a waste, you know. But hindsight, you know, I didn't know that I was going to be buying a chipper, so.
Yeah, I would. I'm like you. I couldn't stand that. $350 to rent a chipper. Nope. Not for me. Yeah. Locked and Loaded says, my chickens are smart. They know danger. Not my ducks, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny because every bird has a different personality. We got ones that we got when we first got here. Yeah, I'm talking about the big chipper. Yeah, so not. I'm talking about one where you can take up to like a 6 to 8 inch log and stick it through there, not the little one.
I don't think I need anything that big.
Yeah, because what happened is when they had the deer farm here, they had a bunch of trees laying down that they had for protection for the deer. And I wanted to clean that all up because I was right in my chicken pen. So all the big stuff I cut up for logs, and I got that sitting out. Well, I got tons of branches. I still got 2 piles of branches that I got to get chipped up.
Thank you, CNN.
What?
Christ News Network. Just donated a subscription.
What happened to yellow corn these days? You can't find it anymore. RJ, that's because they're using corn for fuel. It's all getting burned up and turned into ethanol and fuel. They think that's going to help with the fuel issues.
A lot of what we see around here. Excuse me. A lot of what we see around here is, I'm sure it's not non-GMO, but it's what they call peaches and cream. All corn is GMO now? I don't think so. I mean, not if you grow it yourself.
Christ News Network. Thanks for joining us.
We planted heirloom corn yesterday, and it should be okay.
See, the other thing that a lot of people, and I just learned this year too, is like the third year when you save your seeds and go and continue to use them, the third year is your prime time because it has the first year, it has adapted to your soil and your content. And the second year, it's
well, I don't know. It looks like there may be a internet issue with Mark, or he could possibly be pushing his computer a little hard there. I'm not sure. Hopefully he'll come back to us. CNN, you have missed a really good chat. We've had a ball. We've had, I don't know, 16 to 20 people, I guess, for about 2.5, 3 hours now, I guess. I am in between Indianapolis and Terre Haute, Indiana, in what you'd call West Central Indiana. And I'm in between two fairly large cities, but I'm kind of out in the country. Good place to live, really. Looks like he lost his internet. It's almost time to call it a day anyway, but we'll wait a couple of seconds and see what happens. He may be able to get back with us. No, don't be sorry. Just be glad you made it. We're just happy you got here. What is the growing season? Oh, the growing season. Last frost, 15th of May. Not this year. We put stuff in just maybe a week early. And it gets cold. I mean, it really gets cold. Below zero. And it gets very hot in the summertime. So we get the best of everything, or the worst, however you want to take it. Thank you, Tommy. I think we're going to close the doors here on everything in just a little bit. We appreciate you coming and enjoyed your company. And God bless you. Yeah, it stopped on him when they're right there at just about a time when he just looks like he could have been a little a little scared, huh? Yeah, Tommy. I think Tommy's found a home with the Homestead community. He was a homesteader and just didn't know it. That's pretty cool. Well, Sue, you're just going to have to pay better attention, because Mark put out a video, and so did Justin. Locked and Loaded put out videos this week that we were going to have this tonight. And, we started out. Sorry about that, Mark. We will catch you maybe sometime tomorrow. Looks like you had a storm someplace and it took out your internet, probably. Or, no, you're still using... I don't know what's going on there. But Mark says thanks, and I say thanks for everyone that stopped. And we'll do it again, Lord willing. We'll do it again next Saturday night at same time, which was 7 Central, I believe. Yeah, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Take care, everybody, and thanks for coming. We appreciate it a bunch. I'm just amazed so many good people showed up. Just wonderful. Feels good. Makes me feel good. And hopefully we talked about some things that would do some people some good. So, everybody, next Saturday night, 7 p.m. Central. Yes, 127 subscribers. Awesome. Yep. And all good people, too. I never seen such a bunch of good people. And I mean that. I really do. Now we're at 130. Golly. That's great. Well, we'll see you next week, guys. Take care. And we just pray that everybody will be well and enjoy the week. And we'll see you all next week at the same time. And we'll turn the stream off and we'll just let it run out.